Yeah, if you're facing this issue, we will see later. Okay, let's continue. So we are here. We need to connect to the client machine. So for that, we just enable this public IP address. So by getting inside this IP config, so the public IP is added. Now let's say enable forwarding and say apply. Once apply is done successfully, then we can connect to this machine using its public IP itself. So in our lab computer, let me close this. Let me go to the overview tab and get the public IP. And then on the lab computer, search for RDP, paste it and say connect. And then the username is this, and then the password is this, and say okay, and say yes. It'll take almost 5 to 10 minutes initially. Let me pause this video and come back again. Yeah, this mission took almost 15 minutes for me to connect. Okay, so if you see this is the DC machine, we are not into this. We are going to client machine. So now we have connected to the client machine. Now in here, we need to download our my remote desktop setup and we have to install it. Let's do that. Let's try to access Microsoft Edge. So this is we're doing in the client machine. You can just go with the default data. This link, we can download that remote desktop client setup. Once it is downloaded, we can install. Accept, next, install for all user, install. And we can finish it. Once the installation is done, yes. So this is our remote desktop client. So we use this client for connecting to the AVD which we have deployed, the host pool which we have deployed. So let's try to subscribe. And we need to use AAD user one account for connecting to this. So where do you get it? So you have that in other machine. So in your DC machine, you have the data here, right? So you have to copy this AAD user, copy this user, minimize this DC machine. You are in lab computer, go to client machine. In here, search for the clipboard and paste it. Okay, so it's not coming. So better you type it. AD user one, and that's the username @ So I'm giving my domain names suffix. You will be giving your domain name suffix. So what is that? You have to check first. Go to the DC machine. And you can see, so mine is Dhanabal az140outlook.onmicrosoft.com. So yours, in this case, it might be different. It might be your email ID here. So try to use proper email ID. I'll go to client machine. I'll say Dhanabal az140 outlook.onmicrosoft.com. And key in the password. Password, it should be PA55W.RD1234 hash. Sorry, not hash, 1234. So this would be your password. Let me verify. Yeah, that's the password. I told you guys to keep all password same so that there won't be any confusion. Yes. So we have got the session desktop display to us. Let us double click on it and try to connect. Again, it will ask the password. Key in the same password again. Now we are connected to this machine. So it might be either P0, P1, P2, they say, but in our case, like we created only one session host. So that only session host is giving us this particular data. If you want, you can just go and open command prompt and type host name and check what is the host name which is replied to here. So let's log off, sign out. So this is one thing. Now let's minimize here. Let me go to the DC machine. So this is my DC machine. In here, I'll go to the Azure portal. On Azure portal, I'll go to AVD host pool, the only host pool. Let me minimize this. And here, if I go to RDP property, no, it's a properties. If you go to the properties, if you see here, the preferred app group type will be desktop. Now let us change it to remote app and say save. Once you save it, just minimize it, go back to your client machine, just try to refresh once. Yeah, now you can access the other applications. Like, let me go to access this command prompt. If it is prompting for password, key in the password. If you don't want to enter the password multiple times, you can click on even remember me also. And we are almost in. So once this command prompt is loaded, we can just execute this command called hostname and hit enter. Obviously AZ14021P10. So this is expected. Why it is expected? So if you go to your host pool, go to virtual desktop and go to host pool. And in here under manage, under manage, if you go to session host, we have only one host, that is AZ14021P10. So we just added to adatum.com. So that is why that suffix is there, but that's okay. But this is the name of our session host. And to that we have connected. Now next, let's log off. Then we can also, if we need, unsubscribe it, or you can just leave it as it is. And that's it. So this will complete your lab 2. And at the end, don't forget to stop the VM. So you can just close this remote session as well as this remote session as well. Both the client and DC machine remote sessions are stopped, and go to search for virtual machine and select all the VM and stop it. Make sure you have not created Bastion. If you created, delete it. So once you give stop, so obviously it will stop it, and then you can go and save your lab. And when you click on save, it does. And that's it. Thank you.